Hello, Eurovision fans. I am here to talk about Ukraine. The winner of Vidbir 2020 is Goa A or Go underscore A, Go A. I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce that. The lead singer is Katerina Pavlenko, but she is a part of this band, and they are singing a song called Solovey, which is entirely in Ukrainian. Solovey loosely translates to nightingale in English, just for those of you who are wondering, because I certainly was. Oh my God, I am excited about this act. This is a song that I think encapsulates everything that I find so fascinating and endearing and wonderful about Eurovision. This is a folk song that is at once very modern and at once very classic. There's a really strong Slavic flavor to this song in that it is so regional and yet at the same time so accessible because of the production behind it. I find music like this to be so up my alley because I am a huge fan of particularly Eastern European folklore and the white noise or white singing that is utilized by the lead singer is a very popular sort of folk style of singing in Eastern Europe. It's not for everyone. It's not everyone's cup of tea. It's very nasal. It's very high head voice and a bit shouty to some people's tastes. But it's also very hypnotic. And I think that, even more so than I think Tulia, the band from Poland, who also brought us a very strong slice of regional Slavic fare with their song Paleshi, which was, I think criminally kept out of the final because of, all these voting issues. It barely made it to qualify and it didn't make it. And I was so mad that it didn't qualify for the final. I think this song is an improvement upon what worked for Poland last year. This song is even more catchy and, like I said, it's more upbeat, so it's better for a Eurovision stage. You can dance to it. I love the band together. They've got the flautist and they've got the instrumentalists, and they feel like they've got energy to them, even though it's a song where it's very much about performing your instruments and, performing, very kind of like on stage. It's funny. The lead singer at once comes across kind of rigid, but also full of movement. I don't know, she has this captivating presence behind her, and the outfit is extremely out there. It's very sort of Alexander McQueen in a way, and I'm really, really buying that. I almost feel like they could take the aesthetic with the birds, which is obviously a huge inspiration in the song being called Nightingale, and they could really, and I don't know, I just watched an Alexander McQueen documentary, so that's in my head right now, but I'm imagining, all those really sort of avian pieces he did with the bird feathers and the twigs and the branches. I could see the lead singer being decked out in something that is like this really, really regal, powerful kind of art piece in her attire that, will really work well on stage. And everything about this song, I mean, it just comes together with such cultural flavor. I don't know how else to describe it. I feel like it's a soaring song. It takes off, and then there's this wonderful sort of bird-like flute that carries the what would be the beat drop, which traditionally would be more about bass and heavier sounds, but instead the song reaches up into the higher wind instruments to kind of carry it upwards. So it really gets wind beneath its wings. So yeah, I am extremely into this track. I was so happy to see it win, and I'm just so happy to see songs like this at Eurovision. It's a polarizing kind of music, so I can see how it might turn off some people. I think that regionally, people are underestimating just how much camaraderie between particularly Eastern European Slavic countries this song will garner. I think, a lot of those countries like, Slovenia and Serbia and Poland and Belarus and, all of them are going to, even Lithuania to some extent, they're going to really rally behind this song, I think, in a way, because of the cultural connections that it has, even though it's, Ukrainian and it's in Ukrainian, which I really do appreciate. There's no English lyrics. I think, Ukraine has often been singing in English for a lot of past competitions, so it's really nice to see them fully embrace their language without any English thrown in there whatsoever. This isn't a song that's technically made for Western audiences to fully satisfy them. This was a song that was unapologetically made for Ukraine and for probably a specific, folk cultural subset group of people in Ukraine, because there's so many different cultures that comprise the Slavic people groups in those countries. And I'm really interested to dig deeper into the song and find out more about, what its significance is. I'm having a little bit of a hard time finding too much info at the moment, but I'm sure as we get closer to Eurovision, we'll learn more as we hear more interviews with the artist. We'll learn more about the song and what it's tied to culturally. I'm definitely getting some, midsummer, like, floral headdress, birds, forests, like supplication to Mother Nature feelings from this song, just because of the aesthetics, the visuals, and of course the single art. So I think it's some sort of like tribute to the bird song in the forest. There's definitely some connection there, which of course I am 100% all about, because it's also like very pagan. It's very spiritual in that way. It's very animist. And so I am always going to be about that energy. I just really like seeing those flavors come into particularly the Eurovision stage. And I love it, and it's not even that wacky. Like, I think that people might, compare it to Verka or something, like completely out there. But is it really that wacky? It's just very cultural. I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily want to call it wacky. Yes, it's unusual for Eurovision, but I don't necessarily want to just call it wacky, because I feel like that's a little bit derogatory in this sense, and a little insulting, because people need to open their minds to different forms of music. And that's what Eurovision should be about. That's why I get really, really down and sad when I see countries that, embrace musical styles that have nothing to do with the country that they're from. Or even worse, they have an artist represent them who isn't even from that country. That really grinds my gears. I really, really do believe that there should be a rule in Eurovision that the artist or performers who perform for that country have to have at least lived in that country for a long, long time, or at least be natives of it. Because unless, you're San Marino, then what are you going to do? But should San Marino really be participating in Eurovision? Come on. It's such a tiny country, and yet we're not getting Slovakia in there. We're not getting Bosnia and Herzegovina in there. We're not getting Morocco in there. Luxembourg is bigger. Why don't we get Luxembourg back in there? I feel like the Eurovision Song Contest should be funneling money into trying to get the bigger countries back in and not focus so much on having San Marino participate, because I don't know. If San Marino were to win, does the city of San Marino have the capacity to host the contest? That's something I don't think San Marino ever has a chance of winning, but they still participate, and boggles my mind. But anyway, sorry, that was a bit of a tangent, but those are my thoughts on that. And I'm so happy that Ukraine is participating this year, because as you know, last year it was plagued by controversy with Maruv not being able to perform because, Ukrainians didn't like that she was performing in Russia. She had some ties to it. I really hated how that whole thing went down. I really wanted Maruv to make it. I really loved her song. Very, very different from what we're getting this year, and I'm actually much more in love with this. Like, what we got last year was kind of very trashy in a way, but it was still groovy. It was still a bop, so, I wasn't completely not behind it, but I'm much more down for Ukraine fully sending and going and participating with something that's regional, that's ethnic, that is so authentic, full of meaning, so many layers to unpack, and just something that could really put on a great show, which is a show of culture, which is what Eurovision should be. So I am ready to, dance barefoot with my flower crown in the forest, listening to this upbeat techno slice of Slavic folk heaven. And I am extremely excited to see this song do hopefully very well. I really, really do hope that this song qualifies. If I had anything to do with it, this song would be in the top 5, because for what we've got so far, it's one of my favorite songs. I don't know if it's going to win. In fact, I can probably safely say it's not, which is unfortunate. But I definitely see this song qualifying. Come on, I just need to make sure people are not super turned off by the, style of singing. People need to get over it. Anyway, that's all I have to say about that. I'm rambling on for too long. Thank you all so much for watching. Please give this a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe for more Eurovision content. If you want, you can hit that notification bell to be notified when a new video will be up. I'm kind of looking at basically between now and the middle of March, almost every day there's going to have to be a new Eurovision video. It's going to be quite a lot, because I'm still also trying to cover, main chant, like, the big artists and stuff. You know, Lady Gaga is coming, very exciting, all these things. So I'm trying to balance all of that, but Eurovision season I am fully diving into this year, so bear with me. But I hope you enjoyed these videos because I will keep making them. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful, blessed day. Peace, love, and light. Bye.